And now some applications of rudiments on the drum set. So I'm gonna start demonstrating some single strokes on the set, and the point I want to try to make is that, you know, we don't need to use the single stroke just as rolls. In other words, just playing them fast, and so forth. But we can use the single strokes to create melodies. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna try to play some linear phrasing, where I'm gonna alternate single strokes with my hands with strokes with my bass drums. In other words, I can play any type of notes grouping with my bass drum, but I'm only gonna use single strokes with my hands. And I'm gonna do this with 16 notes, quintuplets, sextuplets, seventuples, and 30-second notes. And so here it goes. So 8 bars each, starting with 16 notes. I'm gonna have quarter notes on my hi-hat, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quintuplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sextuplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seventuples. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I like to do now is play some double strokes. And as I said with the single strokes, we don't need to play only fast as for rolls, but the double strokes have a lot of melodic potential. And, you know, I'm gonna try to play them in an asymmetric way. In other words, being that the double strokes are, you know, 2 notes for hands, basically 4 notes. I'm gonna play them in triplets, which is asymmetric. It's not gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and so forth. And playing rudiments in an asymmetric ways, which means with a different rhythm, makes them sound much more interesting. You know, it's not the only way to play them, but it's something that I like to do. Here we go, double strokes. So just triplets. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. play some 16 notes, double strokes for more fusion playing, or funk or groove, whatever you want to name it. 1, 2, 3. So these are just some basic ideas of stuff you can do with double strokes around the set. Okay, the most basic combination of stickings that we have is mixing single and double strokes. You know, the diddle rudiments are organized in that way. And there's the big thing that is called the sticking system that Gary Chaffee invented many years ago that is all based around this concept. What I'm going to try to do now is demonstrate a groove that I'm going to build upon a very famous and killing groove from James Brown. This song is called Mother Popcorn. The basic groove of the tune goes like boom, ba-da-da, up, boom, ba-da-ba, up, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4. So I wanna try to invent a sticking based on that basic, accent line. So it can be something like, there's different versions. Many of my students do it in different ways, and sometimes much more interesting than mine, but this is mine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. It's basically all around paradiddles. In a way, it's paradiddle, 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 diddle, paradiddle, paradiddle, and so forth. But you don't need to do mine, it's just an example. So once that you find the line, you can do this with any groove, especially the funk grooves like Dave Garibaldi stuff, or Bernard Purdy and all those guys. I'm gonna try to play it on the hi-hat and snare and see how it sounds. 3, 4. Okay, this is the basic thing. Of course, we need some bass drum. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be playing, some bass drum hits together with my right hand. So this is fairly easy to do because it doesn't need any real independence. It's, it's the same, unison. And again, you can play the bass drum anywhere you want, but this is my choice. 1, 2, 3. As you can hear, I'm not always playing in the same spots, but I'm kind of improvising a little bit. So what I'm gonna add now is some embellishment. I can do like play 30-second notes, sometimes I can open the hi-hat some other times and see what happens. This is, when I play the tune, this is basically improvised. So what I do, I build a basic structure for a groove, a basic sticking, and then I use creativity and try to make it sound good, which is the most difficult thing. Remember, the most difficult thing for the musicians, drummers in particular, is to play time. I've been playing 35 years. I'm still struggling to play time. It's really hard to do it very well. And we have, Steve Gadd, people like that we can look up to and get inspired. So, by the popcorn. 1, 2. Flam rudiments. As I said in a previous lesson, I like to use rudiments or to play rudiments in an asymmetric way, which means with a different rhythm. For instance, if I play a pata fla fla, which is in 16 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I played in triplets, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You hear how much more interesting it sounds. For instance, of course I can go back and forth from triplets to 16 notes, and when I play it in 16 notes at the same tempo, of course it's going to sound faster, so something like this. Mixing them up. I can do the same thing with other flam rudiments. For instance, the Swiss Army triplets, which are triplets, as the name goes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I can play them in 16 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can try different solutions with any of the flam rudiments, but I like to demonstrate kind of a difficult exercise that I like to study myself and give to my students, which is based on using the syncopation book, Ted Reed's syncopation. So for the syncopation book is a number of pages with syncopated lines. For instance, page 38, it goes like this with swung 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. This goes on for many pages. Well, I'm gonna do this kind of quick, but stay with me. What I'm gonna do is play the same line playing alternate triplets with my hands and accenting the melodies that are written. So kind of like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so forth for 8 pages. But the thing is, I'm gonna try to do this now putting flames in all of the notes. So it sounds like this. I'll do it slow first. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little faster, and do maybe a couple of lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is an incredible workout for your hands because you really play a lot of notes. But it's also great for phrasing. For instance, I can play the melody on the cymbals. You might hear somebody like Steve Smith playing kind of things like this. A way of orchestrate this system that I really enjoy playing is starting from the toms to the cymbal, and also to challenge myself with some coordination, I play triplets with my feet in this manner. So I'm keeping quarter notes with my hi-hat basically, and then I'm filling in with the bass drum. This is kind of rough at first. And I haven't really done it in a while, so it's not going to sound perfect maybe, but you forgive me. So more about the flames. This is going to be a little bit more advanced. I'm going to still use the syncopation as I did in my previous lesson. But now I'm going to play in 16 notes, using flames, and also using paradiddles. This is kind of rough. So the first line of page 38 in the 10th reed syncopation book goes like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Da 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 pa 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 pa, and so forth. I'm gonna play this as accents for my paradiddles. So I start with paradiddles. So forth. The easiest way to learn this at first is just starting playing paradiddles and singing the line, and then try to follow it with your hands. First, sooner or later, it's gonna come together. And when you have holes, like when you have, dotted quarter notes, you just add double strokes. But, more than this, there's more to this. I'm gonna flam all of the notes of the melody, and it's gonna sound like this: slow. And the 3, and the 3, and 4. So again, it's very, a lot of work for your hands. It's a very good workout. As far as the phrasing goes, I can orchestrate, like I did before. I can play my melodies on the cymbals, starting from the snare or starting from the toms. And I can challenge myself with some coordination and playing the same, 3-note melody that I used for triplets before, but played in 16 notes. so it's going to sound asymmetric. This is 3/16 note phrase. It's going to be like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. I'm going to try to play now this a little faster, starting from the tones, going to the cymbal. Bit faster.